Hi everyone, welcome to Watercolor Wednesday. I am Bonnie Krebs, creator of Watercolor the Art Impressions Way, and this week's project is a little different. I've never done an evening scene, but I think it's really fun to do. It's just a little different. The nice thing about these is that they don't require a lot of colors. In fact, we're only using 4 pens on this one. And even if you're not a cat lover, I think you're really going to have fun doing this project. So let's get started. So we're going to need a few things. We're going to need this little cat from the Watercolor cat set. This is one of our newest ones, this one right here. We're going to use, from Project Series 9, we're going to use the actually, this is the grapevine, so the large grapevine right here. In the wagon set, we're going to use the little, the tall grass, so the field grass right here, the ones going to the left. The dry branch from the clay pot set, one of my favorites. And then from the foliage set, we're going to use the vine and the small grass. Okay, so let's get going. The first thing that we're going to do is put that moon in the background. So you can see right here, the little cat is looking at the moon in the background. This is not a stamp because that would be too harsh. So it's just a circle. So I've just picked something that I had close by. This is a little roll of washi tape, but you can use anything that you want. I'm just drawing a little circle. This actually is probably about 1.25 inches. Pretty close to that. So you can use anything. I usually just grab the thing that I have closest to me because the cool thing about these projects is that they're easy and they're simple and they're quick. So don't stress out about little details like this. Okay, so the next step then is to put some of our sky in, and we're going to do that with a bigger brush. So I'm using number 6. If you don't have a number 6, you can still use your number 4. That's okay. Once in a while, it's really nice to have the bigger brush when you're brushing in a sky like this. So we're going to use a couple of colors. We're going to use the number 86 African Violet, and we're going to use the number 8, and that's the violet. And we're going to mix these two together, and we're going to get a really cool looking sky color. So this is an evening sky, so you want it to be purple. And we're going to kind of water this down a little bit. So closest to the moon is going to be the lightest. So we're just going to brush some of this color in around here, just like this. So just kind of follow your pencil line and just brush it in like this. Doesn't have to be exact. I love that about these projects is that you don't have to be exact about anything. So we're just pushing the color in just like that. Just kind of surround that little circle. And then we're going to come back in a little darker, kind of around the edge. We're going to come in just a little bit darker around here. And that's pretty much all we have to do right now. We just want to get a little of this background in. So just like that. Okay, so let's go on to the next step, and that would be to put our tree in. So our tree actually is the little vine, so the grapevine. We're going to use that. These things have so many different purposes, and I love showing you different things that you can do with these. So we're going to ink this in 2 colors. So we're going to ink it in the African Violet and the Sepia. We're going to do the Sepia first. So we're just going to ink this all up with Sepia. That would be the number 45. And then we're going to ink it again with the African Violet. So 2 colors. And I'm going to use my positioner because I want to make sure I get it in the right place. And I'll just put it in here like that. So I place the little shield inside my positioner and stamp this right into the corner, and I can see exactly where it's going. And I'm going to place that about 1/2 inch down from the moon. So right about there is probably really good. Just somewhere in that area. And let's just stamp it again. So just like that, that looks pretty good. And let's go ahead and put our little cat in. We're also going to ink him in 2 colors, and we're going to use the positioner too because we want to set him in this tree, but we don't want him flying off the tree. We want to make sure that we position him correctly. So we're going to use that same little positioner. And we're going to ink this little cat in 2 colors. So we're going to do the African Violet. So just like this, and actually I want to take that tail out. We're not going to use that tail as it's curled around in the back. We're actually going to draw a different tail in. So 2 colors on this, so African Violet and black. So we're actually using black this time. I usually don't use black, but in this case, we're going to do it. So let's put this right in the corner again, just like this. And we're going to place this guy up in the tree. So right about there, looks good. Place that back in. And we're going to ink him again because we want to make sure he's dark enough. So number 86, don't get the tail in there. And black. So this actually is number 1 black, but you can use any black that you have. That's not a critical color. And we're going to place him right into the tree, just like so. All right, we are ready to move on. So let's dip our brush in water now. So that would be our number 4. We're back to our number 4 brush. And we're just going to start pulling the color out of the lines. So this little guy is going to be pretty dark. We're going to make him a silhouette, so he's going to be colored in solid. So we're just doing the little starting step here. And then on the vine, we're going to pull this color out. So drag this out. We're going to add some more color to it in a little bit. So we're just doing the beginning stages. You can see the 2 colors that are in here. I love mixing that up, and starting with 2 different colors just adds a really different, look. Okay, so let's move on. We're going to go on and add the foliage in. So the foliage into the tree, and that is the little foliage set, the vine, excuse me, from the foliage set. And we're just going to ink that with the African violet. So we're going to just ink the very top of it. So if you're thinking of it like a C, just the very top of it. And we're going to just stamp that a few times in here. And you want to still get it in here a few times. Even though it's really dark, it's just a shadow, we're still wanting to get that, that foliage in here. So once we've got that in here, let's go ahead and add water to that. So we're going to dip our brush in water, and we're just going to dab now at all these little vines. This is a very dark saturated color, so you're going to want to dip your brush and then clean it off. So once you get all this color, when you soften this color, there's a lot of color in this in the image. So you want to just clean your brush off and go back to it again. So dab, dip your brush, clean it off, and do it again. So we don't want it to get too muddy. And just keep dabbing. We're just getting the idea of the foliage in here in the moonlight. So fun. It's a really fun thing to do. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's go on to the bottom now and get the grasses in. So here's that little field grass that comes in the wagon set, and we're going to ink that also just in the African violet. And we're just going to stamp it a couple of times. So just on one side, like so. And then let's use the little grass. This is just the small little grass from the foliage set. And we're just going to put this in. Remember, you got to stamp this a bunch of times and walk it. Just walk it along. And let's add some water to that now. Pull that color up and out. Remember, with the grasses, it's not dabbing, it's dragging that color up and out. And there's a lot of shadows when it's moonlight like this, so you can get quite a bit of water in here. Don't worry about being exact on this. Okay, let's add some more color now to the palette, and that would be the black. So we're going to add some black in here and some African violet. And we're going to kind of mix those two together, and we're going to color this cat in. He's going to be really dark. So the very top of his head should still see a little bit of a highlight here. And this is going to be a process, so we want to make sure he's really dark. So we're going to do this a couple of times. Okay, that looks pretty good. And let's add some of this color now to the tree. So in here on the side, sort of like a shadow, just kind of follow along underneath. Underneath the branches and down in here. This is going to be pretty dark. So we want to just keep adding that color. So our little kitty's getting pretty dark here. We're going to take the fine tip now of that black and we're going to draw a little tail drop down. So we didn't ink that tail in that was up here. So we're going to draw another one in. So just 2 lines, just like this, and just put a little hook on it. Just like that. Don't stress out about this at all. And then we're just going to pull this color out and add some more black to that. This little tail is hanging down. And that looks pretty good. So let's go in now and add some more sky in here. So we're going to use that same purple and blue. This is the original color we started with. And we're just going to add a little more color down in here. Remember, you know, when it's things like this, remember it's just the idea of it. So you don't have to color everything in solid and get every single area. You're just showing the idea of it. This is a dark night sky, and we're showing that purple in the background. And that's just the idea of it. So it doesn't have to be perfect, which is, I know I've said this a million times, but one of my favorite things about this is that it doesn't have to be perfect. It's made to be quick and easy and not stressful. Okay, so we've got our sky in. So we're going to add another little element here, and that would be just that little dried twig. And so we're going to wait till this dries a little bit in the background. And in the meantime, let's just put a little shadow here in the moon. So this is just a little, probably a mix of color here. Just like that. And I think this is probably close to being dry. It is. So let's add that little dried branch, and that would be the African violet. And we really just need a little bit of it here. And some over here. And add a few details. You know, we don't want this to look like it's a stamp, so add a few more details to it. You can freehand that, it's not hard. It's just going to add more detail to your image, make it look like it really is a painting, which is what we're going for. We want this to be original. Even though you're using stamps, we want it to be your own work. So fun? Okay, so let's take an eraser now, and we're going to erase those pencil lines. Just take this all out. And that looks pretty good. We are about finished with this little project. That was so quick and easy. Be sure and sign and date. And give it away. Put it on a card or put it in a frame. You will make someone's day with this little work of art. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all next week.